What if the deepest truth about who you are is not that you are a separate individual, but that your innermost being is already one with the entire universe? In the 19th century, the American philosopher and poet Ralph Waldo Emerson proposed exactly this in his famous essay, The Oversoul. For Emerson, every person is more than just a private consciousness contained in flesh and bone. Each soul is a wave rising from and returning to the vast ocean of a single universal soul. This oversoul is not just a poetic metaphor. It is the living unity of all existence, the divine presence that speaks through us and sustains the world. Emerson's vision of the oversoul became a cornerstone of transcendentalism, a movement that sought to move beyond rigid dogma and materialism into direct experience of the divine in nature and the human spirit. In this video, we'll explore Emerson's bold philosophy, how the oversoul reframes individuality, how it dissolves the boundaries between human, nature, and God, and why it still inspires seekers of truth and consciousness today. Ralph Waldo Emerson was born in 1803 in Boston into a family steeped in the Puritan tradition. But his life became a bridge from old religious forms to a new spiritual vision. Trained as a Unitarian minister, Emerson found himself dissatisfied with institutional religion, which he felt too often confined the divine to dogma and ritual. After the death of his first wife and a crisis of faith, he left the pulpit to become a writer, lecturer, and independent thinker. Influenced by German idealism, English Romanticism, and Hindu and Buddhist texts then entering the West, he developed a philosophy that placed the divine not outside us in distant heavens, but within us in the living presence of the Oversoul. His essays and lectures made him one of America's most influential intellectuals, inspiring thinkers, poets, and activists. At a time when America was searching for its own spiritual identity apart from European traditions, Emerson gave voice to a homegrown mysticism rooted in nature, individual intuition, and the unity of all beings. In his 1841 essay, The Oversoul, Emerson declared that we live in succession, in division, in parts, in particles. Meantime, within man is the soul of the whole. What he meant is that beneath the surface of individuality lies a universal essence that transcends our separateness. This Oversoul is the divine spirit present in every person, the ground of consciousness itself. Emerson rejected the idea of a distant, external God, arguing instead that divinity is immanent. It shines through every mind, every heart, every moment of life. Just as the sun's light is refracted into countless colors yet remains one source, so the Oversoul expresses itself in each individual while remaining undivided. When we feel awe in nature, or sudden clarity in intuition, Emerson said, we are touching this deeper unity. The Oversoul is not bound by space or time. It is eternal, infinite, and the true self of all beings. For Emerson, the way to experience the Oversoul was not through dogma or second-hand authority, but through intuition, the direct inner knowing that bypasses reason and tradition. He believed every person carries within them a spark of divine wisdom, an inner voice that connects us to universal truth. This idea was revolutionary in a culture shaped by external authority and rigid theology. Emerson was saying that the deepest revelations of God come not from institutions, but from within. When we listen to our conscience, when we are moved by beauty, when we feel compassion for another, we are responding to the Oversoul speaking through us. Emerson saw intuition as the highest form of knowledge, surpassing logic and empirical observation, because it connects us directly to the living source of reality. In this sense, every person is already a mystic. We just need to attune ourselves to the voice within. Emerson's Oversoul was not confined to human beings. It shone equally through the natural world. In his earlier essay, Nature, he wrote that every leaf, stone, and river is a manifestation of spirit. For him, the natural world was not inert matter, but a living symbol of the divine, a reflection of the Oversoul's unity. When we walk in the woods or gaze at the stars, we are not just observing objects. We are encountering another aspect of the same soul that dwells within us. Nature is the great mirror in which we see ourselves as part of the whole. Emerson's vision here resonates with both indigenous traditions that see spirit in all beings and with Eastern philosophies like Vedanta, which teach that Atman, the self, is one with Brahman, the universal spirit. By recognizing the oversoul in nature, Emerson invited us into a profound ecological spirituality. The earth is not separate from us but continuous with our deepest self. Perhaps Emerson's most radical claim is that the oversoul dissolves all ultimate boundaries between self and other. Every soul is a wave rising from the same ocean. Every person is an expression of the same infinite life. This means that at the deepest level we are already united with one another and with God. Compassion, then, is not merely moral duty but the recognition of a deeper truth, that when we love another, we are in fact loving another aspect of ourselves. Injustice, greed, and cruelty all arise from the illusion of separateness, from forgetting that the same soul lives in every being. To awaken to the oversoul is to awaken to the reality that no one is truly isolated, and that the joy and suffering of others are inseparable from our own. In this sense, Emerson's philosophy anticipates later ideas of interbeing and collective consciousness, the truth that we live in one indivisible web of life. Though Emerson wrote in the 19th century, his idea of the oversoul resonates strongly with contemporary philosophy, science, and spirituality. In psychology, Carl Jung's concept of the collective unconscious echoes Emerson's insight that beneath individual minds lies a shared ground. In physics, the discovery that reality at the quantum level is a web of interconnections reflects the same intuition of unity. In ecology, systems theory reveals the Earth as a single, interdependent organism. In spiritual circles, the oversoul finds parallels in Vedanta's Brahman, Buddhism's Buddha nature, and mystical Christianity's indwelling spirit. Even in neuroscience and consciousness studies, where thinkers explore panpsychism or integrated information theory, we hear echoes of Emerson's conviction that consciousness is not just personal but universal. His oversoul provides a bridge between science and spirituality, ancient wisdom and modern insight, all pointing toward the same realization, that reality is one, and consciousness is the thread that binds it. For Emerson, the oversoul was not just a metaphysical idea but a call to transformation. To live from the oversoul is to shift our identity from the small, separate self to the larger self that includes all beings. This changes how we act, how we love, how we see the world. It means trusting intuition over conformity, seeking truth within rather than in external approval. It means revering nature, not as resource but as kin, recognizing in it the same spirit that animates us. It means treating others not as strangers, but as expressions of the same soul we share. Emerson believed this way of living brings a deeper joy and freedom, because it frees us from the illusions of separateness and anchors us in the unity of all life. In a divided world, his vision remains urgent. To heal the fractures of society and the wounds of the earth, we must rediscover the oversoul that already unites us. Ralph Waldo Emerson's oversoul is a vision of reality as a single ocean of spirit in which every soul is a wave rising and falling, distinct yet never separate. It invites us to see divinity not as distant but as present in ourselves, in others, in nature, in every breath and every star. To awaken to this truth is to live with reverence, compassion, and freedom, knowing that the life flowing through us is the same life flowing through all. Emerson's words remind us that beneath our differences, beneath the struggles and divisions of the world, there is one soul, infinite, eternal, indivisible, and that to know it is to discover who we truly are. In the end, his message is both simple and profound. We are not isolated beings, but expressions of one universal consciousness, the oversoul, and to live in harmony with it is to live in harmony with the universe itself.